Hey everyone, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. So today is going to be about this manhwa that I started. I think I've finished it at like 30, 35 chapters worth. But I think I've gotten a pretty good idea of whether or not I would recommend and how I feel about it because ultimately these videos, yes, they are about me just getting on here and talking about them, but I also want to be able to, you know, say that I recommend something if I recommend it and whatnot. So this is one that yes, I would recommend. I will say though, going into it, the art is probably about average, like a literal like 5 out of 10, maybe 6.5 ish if you're gonna include the fight scenes, because the fight scenes are pretty cool. The story is pretty decent. Um, he essentially starts out as like an orphan who when when he was young, like a childish age, he has these dreams of him playing like a game with like just like these gods. And for like 17 years, if I remember correctly, is he plays with these gods every night in this dreamlike state. They sit around this like big table and they play this game. It's like an adventure type thing, where it's like they make like a piece is what they call them, and they see how far they can get through like different like challenges, like dungeons and whatnot. Like essentially like a game world. Just they're looking down and controlling this piece, right? So the title of the 31st piece overturns the board is essentially he he makes like 30 pieces over the span of these 17 years, and when his 30th piece like essentially dies, he goes to he get essentially like his dreamlike state ends, and then the next time he goes into I don't want to say next time he goes into his dream state because he doesn't go back into it's just like he basically gets reincarnated into the 31st piece that he would make, right? So he becomes the 31st piece. And I'd say the story is pretty for a game world one, it's pretty simple. I mean, basically he has to go through these like I think in like the first 30 chapters that I read, he's going through a dungeon and he has this character with like stats and skills and whatnot. So it's essentially like a game world that's like dungeons and whatnot. But the interesting aspect of where this of the story is there from like his previous 30 pieces, right? Like they have different endings, right? Like obviously, like he made 30 different characters, they're gonna have 30 different endings. But where they die or where the story ended, he can like absorb the memories of that former piece into this current one to help him remember, and like he gets like quests from accepting like that character's will, like like taking their will onto him. So the cool aspect of the story is just he uses the memories from his time as the god snowman in his dream world where he was playing this game, but also he can absorb the memories of the former pieces that he once controlled that he basically lost. And like you can tell like there's some trauma a little bit of from when he lost his pieces, because like the first one he loses is like he doesn't really remember it because he even says that it's probably too painful, right? uh, I would say the world building aspect of it isn't like it's just average, like it's a game world, right? Obviously, as I said, I'm only 35ish chapters in, so I can't speak to the entirety of it. It's just my first impressions really, and I think I got a feel of whether I would recommend it or not. And like I said, basically when I get to that point of whether I would recommend it or not is when I feel comfortable making a video about it, because my mind's practically bed up on it. The translation is good. Art's simple. Fight scenes are pretty good. World building is a game world, you know. But essentially, like when it comes to the characters, basically, I'm pretty sure I've like the other gods are like they wanted they basically like this game world is a world with like a play area for the gods, like to like increase their influence again, and basically just use these like tiny little humans as just influence and whatnot for them. So characters are like it's basically mainly focuses on the main character and his journey back through this in this playthrough to get back to the point of when he was Snowman the god and eventually take revenge on the gods that are now treating him like basically a lowly ant. Um, but yeah, so like he'll basically what I how I think of it is I go into it with the mindset of like he was reincarnated into the game. He basically he's a shadow summoner, so basically when he kills stuff, he absorbs their shadow, and now it becomes his shadow to like fight for him, basically kind of like a necromancer. So as you can see, like AKA Snowman, yada yada yada. Basically, if you want to know like the synopsis, like this is why I have this up in the background, just in case like anyone wants to like listen to me talk, or if they just want to read the synopsis. But yeah, but I would definitely recommend it. I'd say it's a good like 7 out of 10. It's an enjoyable read if you don't have anything else to read. So, but that'll be it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.